Sir Alexander with another Starcraft 2 battle report from the RPG.net VGO Starcraft 2 tournament. This is a best of 3 between Endgame and Moonshadow in round 7 of the tournament. Moonshadow is in the bottom right as the red Terran, and Endgame is in the top left as the green Terran. Now, these two players are in the losers brackets right now, but they have matched each other before in the winners bracket, and that was over in a short 2 games as Endgame, the first game, did a triple Rax build against Moonshadow, who was then Protoss, and really just demolished him, and then in the second game did a triple Rax build with a command center expand and again destroyed him, and this was largely due to Moonshadow getting a robotics bay and following it up with an observer, and he just because of his build, and he didn't quite have enough units to take the triple Rax in both games. But Moonshadow has now switched his race to Terran, or is playing as random. I can't tell which, unfortunately. And he says, I've forgotten, my build orders are all messed up since I've forgotten them. But anyways, we will see if Moonshadow can pull it back together and win over Endgame in this best of 3. The emotions must be a little bit strong, or tipping in Endgame's favor, as he's got the confidence, as he's already won a best of 3 against him in this same tournament. So the scout is scouting the wrong position, going to the top right instead of the bottom right. This is a great map for Protoss because you can come all the way back here and drop a proxy pylon back there. Anyways, but chitter-chatter going on between the two players, and looks like a barracks followed immediately by an engineering bay. So refinery is going up, so we might see some early techs, or maybe he's going ravens or something like that he wants the techs out of the engineering bay. Anyways, similar build over here so far. A Rax down, and looks like he's going to get his orbital command is going up. I'm going to speed this up once. Anyways, the scout comes, but is way too late. That first Marine almost is out to get a few shots off at it, but does not. He did wall in, so these two races are likely random because they both walled off, and walling off against a Terran player is usually a bad idea, because their standard infantry is a ranged unit. Anyways, the command center, orbital command is finished on both sides. Just finished over here as well. This Rax will be dropping down to build a tech lab, and looks like a factory is coming up. No, a command center, so we're getting a fast expand out of Endgame, and this could be fatal if Moonshadow does an early push, but it looks like he's going for a 2 Rax factory build, so we're probably going to see a tech lab or reactor core tech lab, okay, out of this one. So this means double Marauders and tanks, most likely. That, or maybe double Marauders and Hellions, or perhaps he's just building the factory to follow it up with a starport. Anyways, let's check the income tab. We can see that Endgame is wildly ahead of Moonshadow with 4 more Harvesters, and that's going to make a big difference in the long run of this game. This SCV is just camping out here, a very good move, just making sure that no units come out, and then it's not a rush or anything, especially since he doesn't have all too many units out. He actually, though, off of 1 Rax has produced more units than Moonshadow has, off of 2 Raxes. Oh, because he's going Reapers. Not sure how effective this will be against a Terran player, but we'll see if the surprise and shock of pulling the game. We shall see here. This starport's going to land on a reactor, so doubtless we're going to see Medivacs or Vikings. This factory is going to land in Tech Lab or Reactor Core. We shall see. Or neither. It might just sit there. Anyways, these Marauders are coming in for a push, it looks like. And those Reapers. And these Reapers are going to fire 1 shot and then run. Get up onto the high ground. He needs to do some damage here. Let me slow this down so we can see the good micro. Anyways, both Reapers are taken down very quickly to those Marauders. And so they back up so they can both fire. Looks like they're going to snipe that Marine, but no. So it looks like Endgame is actually going to come out on top. He really needed to have focused that Marine instead of the Marauder with his 2 Marines. Wow, this is looking really bad for Moonshadow already early in this game. That Marine goes down, and this we can both see who's going to win this Marauder fight. Another Marauder's out, and he needs to get tanks out with Siege Tech to try and save him this early game, especially with this giant bio ball that's about to come out. And look at the income tab, 27 Harvesters over 20, and this expansion just got muled up. So we will we'll see if Endgame Moonshadow can hold this together, because this is just a very powerful three racks build. A factory is going up, and he's got this another orbital command up. So he needs to get some tanks out with siege tech. That might be his only shot at this right now. To give him that extra support, because right now Endgame could walk in here and win the game with this. Even with those medevacs, it's not going to be near enough to hold off all of those marauders. He doesn't have concussion shells either, which is also a negative. He really needs to start researching concussion shells immediately. There goes down to the tech lab, but it looks like it's going to be too late as this giant marine marauder ball comes walking across the map. Looks like he's going to try for a drop, but this is exactly the wrong time to do that. Unfortunately, he can't tell. He needs to get those guys unloaded, but no, he's going to move out and try and drop in his base. So he might be able to make this work, maybe, but probably not, as there's already enough Marines and Marauders going to be in here very quickly to fend off this force. If this army just camps here, he might be able to do something, but not a whole lot of something. Especially not as that army is moving in. He does have his tech lab done. Tank is being researched, and a siege tank is coming out, but that's not going to be quick enough. If that siege tech would have been done just way earlier, he might have had a chance. But we'll see. Okay, SCV coming out to scout out. If these guys just camp here for a while longer, he might be able to make it. That siege tech just needs to be done. But this Marine is probably going to kite them in once they kill it. They will now probably move into the base. Oh, and there they go, and unfortunately he doesn't have siege tech done yet. So the tank will be useless. All they can do now is pull off all his SCVs off the tank. But no, it will go down and be destroyed. And that's it for his base. All he has left is to unload these guys and hope he can win on it. But there's a tank in here, 3 Marauders and 4 Marines. Or 4. Going to do a Marauder and Marine drop to the mineral line, but of course he also has this expansion fully saturated. In fact, it's even more saturated than this one is. And these units are just going to mass up and destroy them, especially since he's got a tank there. And since the units are going to be split up, he stims up there and is going to be owning them. Moonshadow stims up as well, but is just not going to be able to take this larger force, even with the medevacs. Well, no, it looks like he's just going to be able to get it. But of course, a tank comes up, and that will probably be the end of this force, especially backed up by those Marauders. He is healing, but that's not going to be enough, and they are going to die. All too bad, and that will be that. And so now it's really GG, and there we go, he calls the GG. So we will see if Endgame Moonshadow can pull it together with his Terran play in the second game in this best of 3 between Endgame and